Hi, I'm Danny Kyle. I'm the Learning Director at Triad Stage, and this is an introductory lesson to puppetry. We're going to go over what a puppet is, how to make a simple puppet with some things you'll find around your house, a few techniques to animating and giving the puppet life, and then we'll have some time to play around with our puppets. So let's get started. A puppet is an inanimate object given a specific design and given movement and sometimes voice in such a way that the audience believes it to be a character and endows it with its own life. This is different from a prop. A prop, is an inanimate object on stage, and it remains an inanimate object. It is a table representing a table, or sometimes it's a newspaper or an apple. Sometimes they're fake and we believe them to be something else, but we don't believe that prop to be a life force, a character with its own intentions on its own. A puppet's also different from a doll. While a doll is something that in playtime does seem to have life, it isn't joined together in that community of an audience and a performer giving it life. And so that in a way makes it different, that the doll is used during playtime and the puppet becomes a part of storytelling. You can make these puppets out of a lot of different objects. We're probably familiar with Muppets that are felt doll-like puppets where a hand goes into the head to move the mouth and a rod is used to animate the arm. But you can also take objects around your house, and by giving them movement in a certain way, you can endow them with life. So today we're going to use some cloth. If you have any handkerchiefs or old t-shirts, thin towels work really well. We're going to use those to make a little puppet. So I've got a handkerchief here, and I'm going to add some knots to it to give it limbs and head. So I'm going to give a knot in the center of one side. Okay, going across here, I'm going to wrap this around my finger, pull it through to make a knot, and that can become its head. Now there's two little corners nearby, and those can become the arms, also with some little knots in them. And over on this side, and then down at the bottom we're going to put in some knots that will make the feet and the legs to it. And I don't know, I don't worry too much about the proportions here. Just sort of let it be, and just kind of watching the puppet, then I can sort of see, okay, these held out can become arms, and I might tug a little bit to sort of adjust how I want it to look. Flipping it around, just like that. We've got a little puppet ready to go. Okay, other things you can use. Let me show you what I did with the t-shirt. I used some hair ties to form it together, and I took the neck ends up in between the legs there, and I just knotted the back part of it to make the head in there, and then put the little corners in to make the arms. He's a funny guy. It's kind of like Stay Puft Marshmallow Man here. This is with a dinner napkin. Here what I did was I took one of the corners to knot to make the head, and then the other two corners next to it became the arms. That meant he doesn't have a leg down here, so this is kind of like a ninja in a cape. I really like this character. And this one I did a little different with the scarf. I took the knot for the head in the center of it more, so that there was more bulk around the arms. It looks really cool in person. I don't know how much it's reading on the camera. Ooh, that's kind of cool, giving it a waist in there. Now it looks like a Commedia dell'arte clown. Oh, I like this character. So have some fun finding some different fabrics around your house that you can knot up and make into different characters. Experiment where you place the knots to help you create different types of limbs and heads. So how do we give the puppet life? That's the goal, to animate and move the puppet in a way that we are believing it to have its own life. I think it starts with the breath. And I want you first to just pay attention to your own breath and breathe in and out. In and out. And allow your breath to continue on its own naturally, just paying attention to it. You may notice that your breath has 4 parts to it: the in, and a pause at the bottom, the out, and a pause when you're empty before the next in. Go ahead and take your puppet in your hand and give your eye contact to the puppet, holding its head up and sort of having its arms out to the side. And my focus is here, and my attention is also on my breath. And then I'm going to start to share that breath with the puppet and envision that it is breathing in and out, just along with me, in and out. It doesn't need to be a big exaggerated movement of that doesn't seem real. We don't believe then that it has life. But something more subtle and gentle becomes a little bit more believable. And I can start to look around with the puppet. And really connect into it. Now we can also use our breath to show the energy level of the puppet. So far, my breath has been pretty even, and so my puppet's energy level has seemed relaxed and pretty even keeled. But what if I was a little more tired with a slower and deeper breath? Or maybe a little more energetic, and this puppet has something exciting going on. Or maybe my breath, super happy. So I'm gonna think about the last party I was at, and it was really fun. We were out at an exciting restaurant, and energies were really high. I'm noticing my breath is a little bit shallower and a little bit quicker. Thinking about that, I'm gonna share that with the energy of my puppet. Now notice it's not and losing a little precision there. It is really intentional, and my connection is with that there. And maybe there's something a little bit more sad and emotional. So I can envision something maybe from a story or even just a color that might evoke sadness to me. And I'm just thinking about a very calming liquid blue. Just sort of sharing that energy with the puppet and focusing on how it changes my breath helps me connect to the life force that I'm sharing with that puppet. So experiment with that, paying attention to your breath and your energy level and how you can share that with your puppet. Hey, so I've set up a little puppet stage here. I think in front of this black fabric, the puppets are really gonna pop. And I'm gonna put on some music, give them some life and animation, and explore. You have built and animated a puppet. You truly are a puppet master. Just one more thing to think about. Did you notice that when you were animating the puppet, where you were looking? I mostly look at either the puppet in real life or the puppet that was on the screen while I was videoing. You'll notice too that the audience is also looking at that puppet. There's something magical when the focus of both the performer and the audience is on the puppet, and with your breath, it has life.